All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Today, we're looking at some really fascinating stuff happening in tech right now, and
Oh, yeah.
specifically, artificial intelligence.
Lots of money going into that space.
Huge amounts of money going into AI and also data centers.
That's right.
And one company seems to be in a really amazing position to benefit from all that, and that is Super Microcomputer, or SMCI.
No, Super Microcomputer, this isn't just about providing servers, right? This is about building a whole infrastructure, powering this AI revolution.
Exactly.
When we're talking about the hardware, the stuff that companies like Google, Amazon rely on for all their AI stuff, all their cloud applications.
Yep, and we came across this article from the Smart Investor podcast.
Okay.
And it's called Super Microcomputer, SMCI, the investment opportunity of 2025.
Bold statement.
It's a bold statement, right? They're comparing it to NVIDIA and Palantir, these companies that just saw explosive growth. So what makes SMCI so special?
Well, first of all, look at the recent earnings, right? Q2 2025, revenue's up 54%.
Wow.
Which is
huge.
Massive.
Yeah.
Now, they did miss expectations a little bit on revenue.
Okay.
But the market seems to be thinking more long-term with this one.
Well, I was going to say, the article also highlights the fact that the stock is up 108% since November.
That's wild.
That's not just driven by one quarter.
No.
What's got investors so excited?
Liquid cooling. This is the big thing that SMCI is focused on.
Okay.
For data centers.
Okay.
The CEO, Charles Liang, predicts this is going to be massively adopted.
Okay.
And if he's right,
Mm-hmm.
and 30% of new data centers are using liquid cooling, game changer.
Wow. Especially with hyperscalers saying they're going to invest, what was it, $1 trillion in AI and data centers by 2027?
Yeah, you're talking about a company that's right in the sweet spot to benefit.
They're not just supplying the hardware, though, right?
Right. This liquid cooling tech, it's a more efficient and cost-effective way
Makes sense.
to deal with these power-hungry data centers.
All right. So the article talks about SMCI's PS ratio, price to sales ratio,
Yeah.
which is currently 0.93.
Under one. That's interesting.
For those who aren't super familiar, basically it's comparing the company's market value to its revenue. What makes that number so interesting to investors?
Well, when the PS ratio is that low, like under one, it's often a sign that the company might be undervalued.
Okay.
You look at that, combined with those projected revenues, they're talking about 23.5 to 25 billion in 2025 and potentially 40 billion in 2026.
Yeah, this article's throwing out some huge numbers.
Huge numbers, and you can see why some analysts are predicting the stock price could jump 115% this year.
That's incredible. But also got to remember, those are just projections.
Right, of course.
The market can be a little crazy,
Oh, yeah.
unpredictable. What are some of the challenges SMCI could face?
Well, I mean, one thing you got to consider, competition.
Okay, yeah?
Other companies are developing liquid cooling too. Right.
Yeah.
So, and even though everybody thinks data centers are going to keep growing like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
any kind of slowdown could impact a company like SMCI.
Yeah. And the article also mentioned some investment strategies too, right? Like buying call options or selling covered calls,
Options can get complicated.
which gets a little complex, but
Right.
yeah, we're just looking at the information here.
Right.
This is not financial advice.
No.
Just an interesting deep dive.
Exactly. People got to do their own research.
Yes.
Speaking of research, one thing that jumped out at me was there was a little delay in finalizing some of their financial reports.
Okay.
They did release a statement, though, saying their accounting is all good.
So that's good.
Hopefully that'll reassure investors a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, it seems like SMCI is in a good spot.
Yeah. I'd say the underlying trends are all pointing in the right direction. Growth of AI, data centers, all that. It's a powerful force. And SMCI is right there, ready to take advantage of it.
And it's like that saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Second best time is today. Now, we've talked about SMCI, but I think it makes you wonder, what other companies out there are going to benefit from this huge shift to AI and data centers? That's something for everybody listening to think about. And in the meantime, go check out SMCI, see what you think, do your own research.
Sounds good.
And we'll see you on the next Deep Dive.
See you then.